Mr. Josiah, can you hear me? Am I audible? Huh? Good evening, everyone. Good evening, good evening, good evening. So sorry about that. Am I audible, please? Can we hear me? Good evening, Kenny. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. I hope our day was good. How was our day? So am I very, very audible? Like, can you hear me? Hmm? So can I get a thumbs up? Okay, so I believe we are ready for today's session. Today's session is going to be very, very interesting. Yeah, so should we give others about 3 minutes more? Oh, thank you. Let's give others like 3 minutes more. So kick starts at exactly, let's say 2 minutes more. So at exactly 7:06. Good evening, good evening, good evening, everyone. So just sit back, get your maybe your bottled water or your tea or anything. Just get it beside you as we dive deep into today's lesson. So just get everything set. So dive deep into today's lesson. I quickly want to ask, is my slide clear? Can you see my slide? Is it clear enough? Huh? Evening, boss. So can I, if my screen is clear, can I just hear, can someone just type clear? Can I get some people just type clear? Okay. Okay, yes. Yes, yes, your slide is clear. Thank you. Okay, so 1 more minute and we are good to go. So let's sit tight. Don't forget, some of you might need to have a water beside you, maybe a chilled water, so to help you get on this journey. So let's start. So who can quickly remind me what we did the last time? Anybody? What was the last, let me say, AWS service we discussed about before we fly into the before we fly into today's um, course? Who can remind me what we talked about last? Can remember what we talked about last? Anybody? 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 Introduction to serverless. Good. Good. Another person. Serverless. No, auto scaling group was not. Yes, AWS Lambda. Yes, talked about AWS Lambda as a serverless compute service. Serverless computing, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. So we are going to be doing a demo today. So I will want us to be ready to follow along. So let's dive deep into today's section. So if you want us to, that's good. Rabbi, that's good. So if you are ready for us to dive into today's session, can you just say fly? Can I say fly in the chat? Can I say fly? I just need three. Just three flies and we are good to go. Just three. So okay, fly. That's three. Wow, that's a quick one. I believe we are all set. Okay, I like the vibe. So we'll be talking about storage today. Storage. Storage can be anything where you actually keep things. You understand? But now, I believe by now, we are already going deep into uh, cloud computing. Yes, thank you. So we're going deep into cloud computing, and there are some things that we don't really need to start from the basics again that we already know. So now, if I talk about cloud storage, if you know cloud storage is kind of a new thing to you. Can you just comment, maybe put like a sad face, sad emoji in the comment section if cloud storage is like you're just saying about cloud storage for the first time. If I can get like three, I'm going to touch each from the very, very beginning. So if you're just saying about cloud storage for the first time, can you just put a sad emoji? Okay, one. That's don't worry, that's why we're here. New, okay, cloud storage, okay. Any other person? Okay, no problem, no problem. So now, before we even talk about S3, so I won't be saying Amazon Simple Storage Service. All of us know now, no problem. We are going to start from the beginning. I won't be saying Amazon Simple Storage Service, no. So once you hear me say S3, you already know what I'm talking about. Once you hear me say S3, you already know I'm talking about Amazon Simple Storage Service. So let's see. So today's model will be discussing about buckets. Don't worry about all this thing. Just do as if you didn't see this slide. Just do as if you didn't see it. So it's just something I just had to put just to explain. Just do as if you didn't see it. But just listen to me. So buckets, objects, versioning, and permissions, then data lifecycle, policies, and storage class. So we want to be going deep, like really deep into Amazon S3 because trust me, Amazon S3 is a very, very wide service. I'm telling you. So, well, I've been able to get enough resources that can help us in our exam and also help us get the best knowledge that is needed at our level. So I believe that's fine. So let's proceed. So now let's talk about cloud storage now. Let's know that we have physical storage and we have cloud storage. So physical storage is what you can actually see. We all know. Let's say like you get a carton or box and you start putting things. Think of a storage like anything that you can actually put things inside. Do you understand? And have this at the back of your mind. You have a small box where you can put things that are small. You have another box of a medium size and even a larger one. So just think of a storage as something physical. I believe that's quite good. So now, cloud. Let's remove storage now. We've talked about storage. So with the concept of cloud, who can tell me what cloud means? Because when we first of all started, we talked about cloud computing, they gave it definition. You understand? So trust me, if you can understand what cloud is, cloud storage is a simple, it's just another thing. So who can tell me what cloud computing is? Anybody? We've been talking about this. This is the fourth week. Oh. Cloud, remote. Hmm, hmm. No, Oluwa. Okay, I guess we're not around on Wednesday. Yes, you are the one that was, because I know you're part of the vibrant student. Okay, cloud, remote, any other person, cloud computing. Cloud computing is a on demand delivery of IT services or resources across website. Okay, that's deep. That's deep. That's deep. That's deep. Cloud computing is something that compute service. Okay, okay. Sky. Okay, Rachel. Computer service over the internet. Okay. Cloud computer is where you store something remotely. Okay, most people are saying remotely, but I like there's a definition I see that cloud computing uh is the on-demand delivery. Okay, that's another one of IT services or resources over the internet. So let me just say this quickly because I don't want to really go deep into what cloud computing is, but just have it at the back of your mind. Cloud computing is, let's see, where first of all, have at the back of your mind that there's something called physical server and cloud server. Let's put it like that. So cloud computing is what you can rent a part of a physical server that you can rent over the service. So I'm not really going to go there because we have a lot to do. But let's first of all take um, iCloud. So these are cloud storage services. All these are cloud OneDrive. Many of us, if in fact everybody here is using one of these. Everybody, even if you don't have an iPhone, you are using this Google Drive. Everybody is using this. Your email, it saves all your messages. Okay, delivery of computing service is in the cloud. How many of us have ever noticed that whenever we want to have access to some things, uh, within seconds we can have access to it, like your message or your emails about 2 to 3 years ago, or something you've actually stored in Facebook, some images. It's not saved in your laptop, and if you notice, once you want to have access to it, maybe your Facebook, for example, let's say your Facebook, for example, and you first of all have access to it with your phone, you can still have access to your Facebook again through your laptop, even through your tab, through any device, as long as you know your password and your username, and you can have access to every of your images. So think of it that Facebook is actually storing all these files, all these images in the cloud that we can't see. How many of us are following? So just have it at the back of your mind that cloud storage is actually a place that you can't really see, but you can have access to over the internet. You can actually just learn a part of it. You understand, to save some things like iCloud, for example. How many of us are using iPad or iPhone? We'll be conversant with iCloud. So sometimes when our storage is full, they will tell you to subscribe to iCloud maybe a month, 2 months, a year, like that. So I believe if you want more explanation on cloud storage, and if it's not clear to you before we dive or before we fly, can you just say not clear so I can come over it again? Cloud storage. If you want me to fly, just say fly. If I can get like 4 flies, I'm going to proceed. Can I fly? Can I fly? Fly, fly. Oh, I like today's vibe. Oh. It's like we came prepared. Oh, my Jesus. Okay. Not clear. Can I get another not clear? Okay. Ata. So let me just Ata, do you know the meaning of anyway, Moses? Do you know the meaning of cloud computing? Do you get definition? The cloud computing is the on-demand delivery of IT resources over the internet. IT services or IT resources over the internet on a pay-as-you-go model. Do you get the definition? Or is this your first time hearing about cloud computing. I'm talking about Atta. Speaking to Atta. So maybe this is your first time. So, but let's. There's no time because we have a lot to cover today, and I don't want us to waste much of. Please, is this data analysis? No, precious. This is not data analysis class. Oh. So let's quickly look at this now. Cloud storage like OneDrive and Atta. Sorry, I believe you should understand. So consider cloud storage service where you upload files, photos, and videos. So these files are stored remotely and can be accessed from any device with an internet connection. Take note of that. Any device. Okay. So let's proceed. Maybe I have to move away from comments a bit because some of you are making me laugh. So this is the definition here. Cloud storage like OneDrive, Google Drive, or iCloud. So as is a service where you upload files, photos, and videos. So these files are stored remotely as long as you can have access to it remotely over the internet. Do you understand? Is a cloud storage where you can actually save your files and have access to it over the internet is a cloud storage. Yes, Dropbox, that's a good one. Oh yeah, let's move. Oh. Let's move. Honor and Rabio, we have trust me, we have a lot to do. So at the end of the class, we'll be able to gist more, but let's focus. So AWS counterpart now, Amazon S3 operates similarly, allowing you to store and retrieve any amount of data as objects in buckets. So take note of these objects and buckets, objects and buckets. So it's designed for durability and scalability, making it perfect for backup and archival storage. Let's move on to the next slide. So now let's talk about what Amazon S3 is. So by now, see, one thing I want us to understand is this. Once you can understand the concept of cloud computing, and maybe um, there's a glossary that we send. I don't know how many of us have been studying that. You will see terms, IT terms like this. So I believe if you go through those things, trust me, it's going to make your this learning process very simple. It's going to make this learning process simple. Huh? Trust me, it's going to make so when you hear of things like this, just know we're talking about cloud. Just know that we're talking about the cloud, and trust me, the cloud is wide, very wide for that matter. So those materials we've sent across to you, please let's do well to use it. So we can have a smooth class. So Amazon S3, what I will be calling this, is a service that provides, hey, this that provides what again? How many of us can see the completion of this? Or let me say, am I the only one that is not saying it? How many of us can see the other part? Provides object level storage. How many of us can see that object that is there? Huh? Okay. Can't see it. Okay. Now, is a service that provides object level storage. That means everything you store in Amazon S3 is an object. Okay, I've called the name. Is object. So it's a service that provides object level storage. Service that provides object level storage. Do we get it now? Do we get it? Hmm? I mean, do you get it now? The S3, what is covered here is objects. Objects is object. So it's a service that provides object level storage. So it stores data as objects in buckets. That's good. So it stores, I like this, it stores data as objects in buckets. So whatever you upload to Amazon S3, call them objects, and they are stored inside buckets in Amazon S3. So you can upload any type of file to Amazon S3, such as images, videos, text, files, and the rest of them. Okay, let's proceed. So Amazon S3 offers unlimited storage space. Now, I'd like you to get your biros now, or get maybe where you usually jot something down and put this down. This will come out in the exam. So far, this question always come out. Amazon S3 offers unlimited storage space. Now, but the maximum size for an object is in Amazon S3 is 5 terabytes. Please write it down. Please, what do you mean by bucket? Now, bucket, I'm still going to explain in the later slide, but think of bucket as where you actually own. It's something you own. You can create buckets in S3, and that bucket is where you store things inside. Your images, your photos, and the rest of them, your files. I'm still going to explain buckets later in the later slide. So please let us take note of this. Amazon S3 offers unlimited storage space, but the maximum file size for an object in Amazon S3 is 5 terabytes. Please note that down. This is just an extra 2 mark I've already given us. So just note that down. You can just write exam tips and just start putting all these things that we've been mentioning that's going to come out in the exam. And trust me, it's going to save you in your exam. So Amazon S3 use cases for backup. You can use Amazon S3 for backup and storage, disaster recovery, don't worry, archive, hybrid cloud storage. How many of us know the meaning of hybrid cloud storage? How many of us know the meaning of hybrid cloud? Anybody? Anybody? I believe we've covered it though. Yes, we've covered it. I can't remember the we've covered it. So application hosting and media hosting and so many things like that. Yes, we've covered it. Yes, that's good. That's good. So let's move. So how it works now. So Bosse, this is where you need to really pay attention. So how it works. An object is a file and any metadata that describes the file. So, sir, does that mean 550 terabytes? No, for a bucket. Anoluwa, can you just jot this question down, please? Can you just, don't worry, I will come back to it. I'll come back to it when it's time for question, please. Storage on premise and in the cloud, yes. I'll come back to it. So everybody is putting up a question, please. Oh, thank you. So please, just somebody help me jot down those questions. Now, so an object is a file and any metadata that describes the file. A bucket is a container for objects. So this is what a bucket is. It's a container for your objects. You cannot just upload things to S3. You have to first of all create a bucket where you are going to upload those objects. So to store your data in Amazon S3, you first create a bucket and specify a bucket name and AWS region. Don't worry, we are going to cover it. We'll cover everything. We'll cover everything. So Then you upload your data to the bucket as objects in Amazon S3. Each object has a key or a name. That is a key, or you can let's just say a name. That's how you can identify each object within the bucket. So now let's look at it. We said there's a metadata. Let's see what each of these means now. So we have the data, we have the metadata, and we have the key. So in object story, each object consists of data, metadata, and a key. How many of us just seeing of metadata for the first time? Just let me see here. Hi. If metadata is a new thing to you, just let me hear you say hi. Might need to go deep into it. Hi. Okay. Hi. Okay. No wahala. So no wahala. So the data might be an image. So for the data, video, text, or any other type of file. So now metadata consists of information about what the data is and how it is used, the object size, and so on. So think of a metadata like, let's say, for example, we have somebody, uh, the person's name is, let me look for a name here, Biodun. So now, Biodun is a person. How can we know about Biodun? How can we know about Biodun? We say the person's name is um, Biodun Fine. So light in complexion, slim, maybe. What else again? She has long hair. So those are the metadata, everything about that data. So in a nutshell, that's what a metadata is. Everything about the data, the size, what is used for, how it's used. I hope we get that, and the rest of them. So a metadata describes what a data is. If we want to know everything about that data, you will see it. Everything about that data comprised together is what brings about the metadata. Let me put it like this. So an object key, it's unique identifier. So how do you identify this data? By the key. No worry, when we get into the console, some of us will understand it better. So let's fly. So now let's move on to the um, next thing on our agenda. So there's something called Amazon S3 versioning. Amazon S3 versioning. Now, for those of us that have been asking what an S3 bucket is, so you can just think of it as this, literally a bucket, but not the kind of bucket we know. So you get, it's just somewhere that you can store things. So every person that wants to put something inside AWS, let me draw back a bit. Let me draw back a bit. Let's go back. So let's start from yes. So Zipra, what's there that you don't understand? I'm sorry if I didn't get that name correctly. What's there that you don't understand? So I would like us to be following as I'm flying. I don't want to fly and leave us behind. So I'm waiting for you. So what's there you don't understand? Huh? The diagram. Okay, so now this diagram is just to explain what we are talking about when we say an object. An object consists of a data, a metadata, and a key. I was saying if you go to the bank now, or maybe you take a place in the bank, maybe just a small space. How many of us that always watch film, you will see you have one drawer there that you will have the key to it. So everything about that data, about what you're about to keep inside, to know everything about it, that's where we come about the metadata. So it talks about what is inside, how is used, the object size, the size of it, and everything that has to do with that data. So this is just to explain what an object is and what it consists. So it consists of a data. A data can be anything. It can be your video. So what is this data about? Is it the data contains maybe a short video that describes what an item actually is, or just trying to explain one or two things, or anything? So that's what a metadata is. Then we have the key. Think of it as something that you use to identify the data, like the name. So you understand, like the name. That's how you're going to use to identify the data in the bucket. Because trust me, you're going to upload many, many things inside the bucket. So how do you identify? How do you get access to it? If you want to search a particular data out, how do you? So you use your key to do that, or the name of the data. Hmm? So if we are still following at this moment, can I get a fly so I can push on? If you'd like me to fly, let me hear you say fly. Or it's like today's class is going to be tough. Okay, another person. Fly, fly, okay. I believe I'm able to explain very well. So let's see now. Um, let's talk about versioning. So version in a nutshell is, let's say you create something and you want to make it in another you want to create another section of what you've just created. Like now, make it two. That is what a version is called, of the same item, but then with a different key. So now let's see. Is a feature in Amazon Illustrator that allows you to keep multiple copies, versions of the same file object in a storage. You can version your files in S3. It is enabled at the bucket level. So think of version. Let's say, for example, this is your S3 bucket, and you can see right here, you upload a photo. Now, please take note of this. By default, please, exam tips now. Let's get our biro, our book, and let's put it, because this is also going to come out in the exam. There's every tendency that this will come out. So by default, versioning is not enabled. You have to enable version. You have to enable versioning. Please, I want to beg us, let's take this down. You have to enable versioning in Amazon S3. So at the bucket level, you have to enable versioning. I believe we've taken that down. So looking at this diagram here, you see we have an S3 bucket here, and we have another S3 bucket. Now it's still the same S3 bucket, but you want to create another copy of this data. That's the picture. You can see we have the key, the photo, and we have the key ID 145. Now, when you enable versioning, because you have to enable it, what happens is that it creates another copy of that same photo or of that same object. So you can see here now, this is key ID 145, the same that was here, but the other copy is 146. Do we get it? So you can actually have different, let's say for example, you when you upload the picture, you now decided to crop it or you change it, you understand, and you still want to save that that new one that you've just created, that new one that you've just created, that you've just edited rather. So let's just say we already have 145. When you enabled versioning, you have 146. You now want to edit one of the photo. So can you repeat it again? Okay, let me come back again. Now, S3 versioning is a feature in Amazon S3. So it allows you to keep multiple copies, versions of the same file object in a bucket storage. So I said earlier, you have to enable this feature. You have to enable it. By default, it is not enabled. What it does is that it creates another version of your object in your S3 bucket. If you see on my left hand side here, how do you enable versioning? Don't worry, we will see it when I enter inside the console. It's not hard. You just like, you know how you make use of this. You just on and off. There, just think of it like a switch. You just on and off. So, sir, can you repeat the statement of by default version? By default, when you create an S3 bucket, versioning is not enabled. That's what I meant. So when we say it's in the default setting is that version is not enabled. So if you want that feature, it's there. You just have to enable it. That's what I meant by default. So let's see like this now. For example, at the left-hand side, where you see the photo GIF with the key ID 145, you see versioning was not enabled here. But when versioning was enabled, automatically what happens? It creates another copy of the same image. Yes, you have to enable versioning in Amazon S3 bucket. Yes, yes, I like you. Yes, so you have to enable it if you want the feature. Some people don't want it. So if you want the feature, you enable it. Let's we see. You just need to know what it does. Hmm? Trust me, at this level, but feel free to ask your questions. But I've done my possible best just to get you the very materials that you need at this level. So I believe we understand it now that when it's enabled, you can see we have to copy the same copy 145 and another copy 146. So let's dive in. So let's talk about permissions now. Permissions, permissions. So how many of us remember the section where we talked about I am? Who can quickly tell me the full meaning of I am? Anybody? Let me see. It's like we'll start sharing chin chin. We'll start sharing chin chin. Who can quickly tell me the full meaning of I am? Anybody? 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 Identity and access management. That's a quick one. Yes, yes. So that's it. So that's it. But we are too much. We are too much. So it shows that. So when I start talking about IAM policy, I believe we should all know what. So who is the first person to drop it? Let me see. Inyana, don't worry. We will transfer your chin chin. So just create an S3 bucket where I will upload your chin chin to Lola. Okay, Niyi Lola Lawa. Okay, so create an S3 bucket. I will. You will share the URL to me so I can um, send your chin to you there. So let's proceed now. Permissions. So first thing before we even go through definition and everything. So let's say like you've already created an S3 bucket in Amazon S3 and you've uploaded something inside. I don't know what you upload inside. It can be anything, maybe a photo or anything. So now, at first, you are the only one that can have access to that S3 bucket. Yes, you are the only one that can have access to that S3 bucket. Now, you can choose whosoever you want to have access to that S3 bucket. Yes. Now, there's something we call a public bucket public policy or thereabouts. So you have to enable it. Even if when you share a URL to someone after creating a bucket, uh, if you've not enabled it, when we get inside the console, you will see what you understand what I'm talking about, and I'm going to show us, and we're going to do a demo on it. So if you've not enabled it, nobody can have access to it. Yes, even though they can see it, they can't have access to it. Even though you're giving them your own URL, because we have present URL and um, um, we have another URL, an S3 is it S3 URL. We have present URL and we have S3 URL also. But now, even though you've given your friends access to your S3 bucket, giving them that URL, and you've not enabled um, bucket public access, yes, to the S3 bucket, they can't have access to it. Now, when we get inside the console, I'm going to show us that the feature I'm talking about. So permissions. So a way you control who can have access to your buckets and files and what they can do with it. So there are many ways at which you can give access to it. But we're just going to look at two. So that's bucket policies and IAM policies. So now, before I move on, is there anybody that does not understand anything about this section that you would like me to break down? About permission that you want that you don't understand. If you want me to fly, just tell me to fly. Just tell me to fly. If you like me to fly, can I get a three fly so I can proceed? Yes, fly. So I just say one more thank you. So I believe so just know there are many ways you can have access to your S3 buckets. Once you created it first, you are the only one that can have access to it only if you enable bucket public access. So let's leave it like that. So now let's see bucket policy. Now, what are they? What are buckets we move? Yeah. So bucket policy, how many of us remember what a JSON document is? How many of us remember a JSON document? How many of us remember what a JSON document is? Could you please recap an IAM policy? Chiamaka, if you that IAM policy, hmm, if you we've treated it, if I start going back on it, it will take a long. Uh, this session is going to be long. So what's going to happen is just go back to the previous videos, and you're going to see. And paraventure when I'm explaining bucket policy, and I'm even going to explain IAM policy too, and you will see it and you will understand it. No, let me no. So enabling versioning is not to permit it. That's nothing to do with permitting other people to have access to your S3 bucket. The feature of versioning is to create another copy of the same object you've uploaded to your S3 bucket. To say create another copy of the same object. Please get it right. Get it right, eh? Olubusayo. I believe you understand it now. Yes, it's a duplicate of the same object, another copy, version, another version, another version. It's almost like tie and coin day, but with different name, tie and coin. Oh, we already have some other facilitators here. Eh? So we are not playing. We are too much like this. Oh, but you guys are good. We have the playlist for each course already. You can go back to the. Okay, okay, that's good. Guys are good. Oh, eh? I see cloud facilitators rising. So let's yeah, yeah. So let's proceed now. So bucket policies are JSON documents. Huh? I believe you understand. Hmm? So JavaScript object notation. I believe we are good to go. I want to take my time to really let us understand it. That's why I'm pausing a bit. Hmm? Okay, so let's go. So bucket policy are the adjacent documents that you define access permission from an entire bucket. So take note of this now. Bucket, I told us so, is JavaScript object notation. That's what Priscilla. So it's JavaScript object notation. So we just say JSON documents. So now take notes, get your virus. Exam tip, bucket policy. So when you hear bucket policy, what should come to your mind is this. You attach a bucket policy to a bucket. Here's a bucket. You attach the bucket policy to it. So the bucket policy, the bucket policy means that it says whosoever can have access to the bucket and what they can do to it. You attach a bucket policy to a bucket. You attach a bucket policy to a bucket. Yeah, a wonderful facilitator. Can we give our wonderful facilitator, that's Mrs. Ife Oluwa, can we just give her a high five? She has just explained it to no Oluwa. Yes. So can we give her, so the person that you just see that just dropped this answer is my colleague. So can we just give her a high five before we can proceed? Uh-huh. I need two more. One, two, three. Uh-huh. I need one more. Good. So let's proceed now. So you guys should also know that I'm not alone. Yeah, she's behind somewhere. She's behind somewhere, and some other persons, and they're ready to answer and help us to. They are really supporting me. So let's go. Bucket policy adjacent document that define access to permission from an entire S3 bucket. So that's good. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So it's too much now. It's too much. It's too much. It's too much. Oh, it's too much. Oh, Otito. 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 No more high five. Oh. Otito. Eh? So let's continue now. Let's continue. So they specify which user or account can perform. Hey, now wow. Small something, just small. So it specify which user or account can perform specific actions on the bucket and its object. It have do. It have do. It's small. It's small. I just say I just need four. Four. So let's proceed. So key features. So the scope is to applies to all objects within the bucket. So actions. When we're talking about actions in the JSON policy, when we're talking about actions in IAM, we all know what actions is. So the action can either be list buckets, what actions are to be performed in the S3 bucket. What actions are to be performed in the S3 bucket? And remember, we said we have objects inside buckets. Objects inside buckets. Objects inside buckets. You create an S3 bucket. It's empty first. Then you start uploading things inside. We get it, Abby. So let's fly. So we have the S3 list bucket, S3 get object, S3 put object, S3 delete object. So list the object in the bucket, get object. All this is very simple. I don't want to use more than I don't want us to use more than 9 p.m. here. So that's why I'm kind of just moving quickly. It's just fast. So if you want me to stop along the way, just tell me to come back here. So we have another section in the policy, that's the principal. So you can specify who the policy applies to, which can be an AWS account, an IAM user or role, or a user or a public user, anybody. So now let's quickly go through this bucket policy. So this is a JSON format that has some green words around it. So we see the version, the statements, the effects, the principal that I was talking about, not our school principal, this is a principal. Action, resource. Shall we get? So now, so this is an example of a bucket policy. So this bucket policy allows everyone to read objects in the bucket. It allows everyone to leave bucket objects in a specific object bucket, sorry. So what is here is specific bucket. So now let's see what each of these ones mean. So you don't need to focus on the version. The version can be any one statement. So in the statement now, you will see this star. This star means is open to everyone. Once you see this star in a JSON document, just know this star means it's open to everyone. That means everyone can have access to it. Uviri, you have a question? Hit me. Let me. I can spare 2 minutes to answer your question. We have passed the waving. The screen is not clear. Please, Victor. Oh, it is screen clear. Can you increase the quality, or are you using your phone? You are not saying star. You have to zoom it too. If you go to your, where are you? It's clear, It's clear. If you go to your on your settings, what's it clear? What's it clear? What's it clear? What's it clear? The screen is clear. So those that are saying is not clear, go to your settings. Yes, it's clear from my end. So let me quickly help you. So go to your settings. If you slide your screen, you can choose to slide your screen. If you are using your smartphone, even on phone, it's clear. Yes. So what you have to do is go to your setting, go to the quality on YouTube, and go to advanced, go to either 40, 480p or anyone, and just click on it. And you can slide your screen. And anyone that is not even clear, you can zoom it. You can zoom it. If you are using your phone, that star is in front of the principal. You can zoom it. You can zoom it. You can see the star. We are IT people. We should always find our ways around it. If I say I start reducing my front setting now, Nilola, it's going to take a long time, and I'll have to go back and edit it and start bringing it back again. And by the time I'll be doing that, some of us will have been feeling sleepy already. So break is in the next 3 minutes. I have to fly, guys. So zoom it. I've told you how to do it. So now this at my left hand side explains everything here. So you can see the effect is to allow. That means what action. So what, sorry, the effect is to allow. Is the effect can either be allow or deny. But on this case, is allow. The principal star. Star means is open to everyone. The action is get object. So the ARN is Amazon resource name. So now, how many of us can see this ARN? This ARN means Amazon resource name. It means Amazon resource name. So you can see this is the explanation of everything here. So I believe I'm good to go. There is a star in the quote. That star means it allows everyone, it's open to everyone. Yes, or asterisk. Hmm? So let's see if we can touch IAM policy. Okay, let's take a break. And when we come, without Zoom, it's very clear. Yes, clear, go. Eh. So let's take a break. Our attendants will be flying in somewhere around now. Yeah, our attendants will be flying in somewhere around now. We will see one of our wonderful um, facilitators helping us to post it. So please, let's do well. Yeah, so your attendance will be flying up around now. So we want to take a break now so we can mark our attendance and just take time to maybe drink tea, hot tea, or anything. See you guys in the next 3 minutes. Okay, I believe we are ready and set. So even if you're using your phone, you can go to the description, click on the link that's there, you copy it, and you open and go to your browser, you paste it there, and you are good to go. So let's fly. We have about wow, we still have more slides to go. No, we have about six more slides. So let's proceed. So again, policy. If you are good to go, if you want me to fly, can I get a fly so we can proceed? So we can proceed. So we can proceed. Can I get a fly? Oh, oh. Okay, yeah. So I am policy. So so we already know what I am policy is. So it's a document that specifies permission for AWS users, groups, or roles. They control access to AWS resources, including S3. Wow, this is causing a controversy. Lola, what are you using? Are you using your phone? If you are using your phone, just use click on the description. Click on the description. You will see it there. You will see a blue link there in a bracket. Just click on it, but it takes you out of YouTube. But click on it, hold it. No, they are not dropping. I don't think they'll be dropping it here. Once you click on it, whether using your phone, if you're using a laptop, it's very simple. But if you're using your phone, click on it, it will copy. So it will copy. When you copy it, you paste it in the browser, and there you go. Hmm? It is there. Me myself, I just did it. Not quite long. It's there. It's there. It's there. It's there. Yes, it will work. So description. Click on more. Click on more in the ladies in Tech African Bootcamp. Click on more. It will click. Once you click on more, hold it down. Hold it down. Once you hold that HTTPS, it's just that I don't want to move ahead when about two of us are not good to go. Yes, you can use your phone too. It's just something you have to try. So this is why we are um, IT or tech sisters. So we keep on trying. It's possible. It's possible. It's possible. It's possible. It's possible. It's possible. Just always tell yourself it's possible. Since others can do it and they say it's there, and no, I must do it too. So let's go. Let's fly. I believe Lola and some other person, I believe you'll be able to do it. So we already know what I am policy is. So the control access to AWS resources including S3. So the scope can apply to any AWS service, not just S3. So the actions similar to bucket policies, I am policy specify actions like S release bucket. We already know what S release bucket means. Get object, put objects. So I am for the principals session. So I am policy are attached to users, roles, or groups within AWS IAM. I believe this IAM we should already understand it. It should not be a new thing for us. Shouldn't be a new thing to us. So let's see. So this particular policy, um, allows the user to upload files to specific S3 bucket, to a specific S3 bucket. So now let's see it on the right hand side here. We see the version. So the effect is what? To allow. The action is to what? Put objects. Who can tell me what ARN means again? Let me see if we get it when I explained what it means the last time. Who can tell me the full meaning of ARN? Anybody? Olushola, you just come in. His attendance now. It's there, it's hanging around there. So who can tell me what ARN means? Anybody? Anybody? Amazon resource name. Yeah, too much. People have been following. I don't know. I always think maybe it's because I'm not actually saying us like virtually, I'm just seeing our comments and I'm just seeing our picture. Sometimes as facilitators, we can think that people are not actually following, but trust me, you guys are really doing an amazing job here. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I thought I was fast when I was explaining that. So I believe we already understand this policy now. So let's fly. So now I believe we don't have any question on bucket policy, IAM policy, and bucket policy. Yes, thank you so much. I believe we don't have any question. So if you want me to fly to the next one, just say fly. Just say fly, and I'm going to move to the next slide. Can I get a fly? Fly. Not the attendance link is not going now. I say fly, fly. Yes, yes. Another fly. Yes. So that's what we are talking about. So let's fly now. Now, data life cycle policies. So what are data life cycle policies? So to manage objects so that they are stored cost effectively throughout their life cycle, create an Amazon S3 life cycle configuration. Now, we are going to take this gradually. We are going to enter it little by little by little. But trust me, this is it's very simple once you just pay close attention. So Amazon S3 lifestyle configuration is a set of rules that define actions that Amazon S3 applies to a group of objects. Now, data life cycle, life cycle. So data life cycle. These are three different words here. Data life cycle policies. So think of you trying to move a data from one place to another. In this case, from one storage now. Let's say, for example, now you have let me see. How can I explain this life cycle policy for us so we can understand? Let me see. So now think of a data life cycle policy as a rule. Let's say you have 5 buckets, or 5 boxes. You have the small one, you have the middle one, and you have um the large one. So the small one can only store something for like 5 days. Let's just say, for example, after that 5 days, you are going to be billed 100,000 naira. Someone wants stores something for like 5 days, and after that 5 days, you will build 100,000 naira. You have the medium bucket that stores something for like 10 days. After that 10 days, you will build 50,000 naira. You have another one that's the large one, that stores um, something for like, let's say, 20 days, and you'll be billed, let's say, 10,000 naira for it. So what happens here? Now, we know in order for us to save costs, there's something called data lifecycle policy, where you can set a rule whereby after 5 days, it moves from the small bucket from the small box to the medium box. You understand? To save cost. That's one important thing, to save cost. In the rule, you can also apply that after 10 days, it should move from there to the large one. So don't think of data life cycle like that. So it's a configuration that you set these rules. So it defines the actions that Amazon S3 applies to the group of objects inside that bucket. Hmm? So we have two types of action. So transition actions and expiration actions. So now I just decided to just explain to us. But for the cloud practitioner, trust me, you just need to know these two. Yes, I purposely pulled this up to see in case it will come out in the exam and I look at the brochure for a cloud practitioner. You just need to know these two. You don't need to know it deep, like just need to know what it is. So you understand? So let's fly. So now let's see transition actions. So this action define which object transition to another storage class. Now there are storage classes in Amazon S3, like I've explained. Hmm? Just like you have small storage, like I explained, small storage buckets, small storage, sorry, small bucket, small object, what am I saying? Small box, then you have the other box like that. So we have different classes. So they are called storage classes in Amazon S3. So for example, you might choose to transform objects to the S3 standard IA, that's infrequent access storage class for 30 days after creating them, or archive objects to the S3 Glacier Flexible Retrieval storage class 1 year after creating them. So these names that I've just mentioned, they are called storage classes. And don't worry, at the next slide, we are going to know what they actually mean. Hmm? So now there are costs associated with lifecycle transition requests. So there are costs that are, so what happens is once you've set the rules, it happens automatically. It's not something you do manually. So the other action we have is expiration. So this action defines when objects expire. Amazon S3 deletes up expired objects on your behalf. So you have to enable this action too. Hmm? You have to enable this action too. So we see the two type of data lifecycle policies we have. Transition actions. You want to move from one class storage to the other. Then expiration actions. Let's say after 30 days, I no longer need this object. After 30 days, I no longer need this picture in my S3 bucket. I want it off within the next 30 days. So you set those actions, and what happens? It helps you delete it automatically. So let's move on. Now let's talk about storage classes. Now this is the one I want to. So Amazon S3 offers a range of storage classes that you can choose from based on one, the performance, data access, resiliency, and cost requirements of your workload. So these storage classes have these things in common. Each has different for performance, data access, resiliency, and cost requirements. So now S3 storage classes are purpose built. That means they are built for a specific purpose. Huh? They are built for a specific purpose to provide the lowest cost storage for different access patterns. S3 storage classes are ideal for virtually any use case, including those with demanding performance needs, data lakes, residency requirements, unknown or changing access patterns, or archival data. So Amazon S3 class storage is purpose built. When you get purpose built, that means these storage classes are built for some specific purpose, your workload. So when we want to know the kind of storage we want to take on things like the performance, the data access, how you can have access, the resiliency, and the cost. So I believe I'm good to go. So now let's treat, we're going to cover six in this session. And now this is the part where I want us to really, really focus on. And maybe we can get our book and Bible to jot some things down, to jot some things down, to jot some things down. So let's proceed. So Amazon S3 storage classes. So S3 standard. We have S3 standard infrequent access. This IA means infrequent access. S3 one zone infrequent access. Who can tell me, let me see if you are following. Who can tell me the meaning of IA again that I just said? Who can tell me the meaning? Can you, I just want to get three people to tell me because I'm just seeing comments rolling in, rolling in, rolling in, rolling in, rolling in, rolling in. I believe we are. Let me see if we are following. Who can tell me the meaning of IA again? Anybody? I just need. Some people are really focusing. Wow. So some people are not even paying attention to the comments. Okay, that's good. You know, when I was seeing the comments coming in, I was thinking maybe people are not actually focusing. That's great. That's great. So I believe you are following me. Wow. That's good. So we see the different type of storage classes we have in S3. That's quick though. That's quick. That's very quick. I think the first person is um let me see. Okay, I know they were followed by Chidera. That's quick. So it shows we are following. We are really here for business. So we have different S3 storage classes. The first one is S3 standard. By default, once you create an S3 bucket and you upload, so this is the default storage class. This is default storage class. That's the S3 standard, S3 standard IA, S3 one zone IA, S3 intelligent tiering, S3 glacier, S3 glacier deep archive. Now, let's dive into each one. So if you are following me and you want me to proceed, huh? Amazon Resources Management. Adetola, what's going on here? Is another thing I was saying. No? Thank you, Mr. Edire. So he actually had to um, go a long way to do this because God bless you. So he has already posted it on the description. So please, I guess the admin they won't want to be posting it like this every time. So I would like us to just follow closely on the process on how to have access to the attendance link, and I believe that's what they want to be following as from now on. So thank you so much, Mr. Hedry. So let's continue. So whoever has not registered, this is a link right here. You can just click on it and fill your attendance. So let's go back now. So let's discuss. So get your virus. So these are keys. Trust me, these are keys. Just that I didn't put questions at the end of this section because I want us, I believe we will not have time when we are going to be doing the demo, the hands-on. So S3 standard. So it's designed for frequently access data, data that you can have access to quickly. Yeah, I'm flying. Yeah. Data you can have access to quickly. What comes to your mind? Remember, we said every storage classes in Amazon S3 are purpose built. That means they are built for a specific purpose. It gives you lots of flavor where you can actually choose any one of them. Huh? So S3 standard is designed for frequently accessed data, stores data in a minimum of 3 AZ. Who can tell me what AZ means again? Anybody? Let me see. It's like we'll be giving first position. Those that are always quickly answering questions. Who can tell me what easy means again? Let's say the host to type. Somebody can go and type wrong spelling. Hey, I know Lua again. We are going to sort out a class captain in this our yeah. So okay, yes, easy. So take note of this. Take note of this. How it stores data, yes, availability zone. So now we are already becoming, we are no longer beginners again. We are entering the pro level now. We're entering the pro level. When we see easy, we already understand we're talking about availability zone. And who can tell me easy is no? Why did I say the answer? How can I put it again in a way that will not get it all? Hmm. Hmm. Okay, let me just see. Regions are made up of what? Regions are made up of what? It's not Amazon zone, no. Regions are made up of what? Who can tell me? Quickly, a quick one. Regions are made up of what? Yeah, I know do again. Yes, regions are made up of phases. People are too much. People are too much. So let's proceed. S3 standard infrequent access. Yeah. Yes. ONOA. Yes. So ideal for frequently accessed data, similar to S3 standard, but has a lower storage. Sorry, that's the wrong spelling. Don't mind me. I really apologize for that. I apologize for that. It's a typo. It's a slip of hand. How many of you see that? So don't look at it too much. So I was talking about price and higher retrieval price. So similar to S3 standard, but has a lower storage price and a higher retrieval price. So the other one here we have is S3. Yeah, it's a typo error. S3, one zone infrequent access. So stores data in a single AZ. Take note of that. One zone stores data in a single dating AZ. It has a lower storage price than S3 standard infrequent access. So all you need to know about this for this level is just this. And trust me, you are very, very good to go. Let's look at the other one. So this one right here is the one that I know that is usually confusing at times. But trust me, some of you will be able to grab it quickly. Just pay close attention and let's try to zoom in on our screen now. So now, S3, intelligent tiering. So let's say now you want to store something inside S3. You want to store, you've created a bucket, and you don't know, you have no idea of, let's say, I don't know the storage class I want to choose. But I know I have something I want to store, but I don't know the storage class I want to choose to use. I know my workload, but I don't really know. So when you have that at the back of your mind that you don't really know which storage class you're going to use, then you can think of S3 intelligent tiering. So it does this. What it does is that it helps you, it monitors and there's a way it monitors and it can help you determine which storage class is best for you. So that's what S3 intelligent theory does. It's ideal for data with unknown or changing access patterns. So it requires a small monitoring and automation fee per object. So it's not a free it's not a free feature. Let me just put it like that. So on the other hand, we have S3 Glacier. So once you start seeing S3 Glacier, Glacier Deep Archive, just think of archival storage, archival storage, S3 Glacier and S3 Glacier Deep Archive. So it's a low-cost storage designed for data archiving, available to retrieve objects within a few minutes to hours. So we have S3 Glacier, so the lowest cost gas. I remember again. So we are going to quickly note this down. It will come out in the exam too. What is different between S3 glacier and S3 glacier deep archive? Based on these two definitions here, who can tell me what? So because we don't have much time, because we're still going to do hands-on. So think of the retrieval time. S3 glacier, the retrieval time is within minutes to hours. So, but the glacier deep archive takes 12 hours to retrieve. Please note that. So just note this down. Hmm? Note this down. Note this down. So let me quickly answer questions quickly. Hit me with your questions before we go into the live demo. Or no questions? No questions? If there's any question. In fact, let's do like this now. Since we are becoming pro, every one of us has left the answer. Okay. Does that mean? No, it's not 50 terabytes. I believe Feoluwa. No, it's not for it's for an object. It's for an object. It's for an object. I believe Feoluwa have already answered this question. What are examples with data with unknown or changing access patterns? Good. So let's see now. There are two things I want you to look now. That's for, let's say, let's see now. I'm trying to think of an example, an example. Let's say you have a video, and you're a newbie, mm, and you're a newbie, you don't really know how S3 works, it's not everybody that will have the money to get an engineer, just like us now, when we are going to get to the level where we'll start getting paid. Some startups might not really have that time, you understand, or have the money to get a cloud engineer. So what happens after they've gone through an AWS documentation? They found out about extra intelligent tiering and they have the small money to pay. So they have a video. So they don't know which storage class, they don't know about, they just have a video that they want to upload in S3, but they don't know which storage class is going to be good. So what happens is this: the intelligent area, it helps you study the data, monitor how you have access to it. Let's say you have access to it every time. You understand? It's going to actually help you move it to S3 standard. But let's say you have access to it like once in a week. You understand? So what happens? It can move it to a storage class like the S3 standard IA or one zone IA. So what intelligent tiering does, because you're actually talking about intelligent tiering here, it helps you, it monitors your access to the object, how you have access to it. You understand? That's what it does for you. So it comes with the better storage for you, better class storage for you. Anolua, is that okay? Or you would like me to explain further? S3 glacier, please stop. Okay. S3 glacier, please. So first thing that should come to your mind, once you see glacier, think of archive. First thing that should come to your mind, data that you don't always have access to. You remember those in an hospital now, for example. There are some patients that have been there since those hospitals that are old. Yeah. So our professor is here again. She has already answered, even giving deeper understanding again. So let me quickly answer glacier. So what comes to your mind when you see glacier? So what comes to your mind once? See, one thing, the best way. Let me tell you, these things are just you can't really understand. You can't put everything in your head. But one way for you to be able to be ahead of your game is to understand some keywords. So what comes to your mind when you hear of S3 glacier? Think of archival data, data that you don't usually have access to every time. Think of an hospital, for example, now. Hmm? Think of an hospital. You know, they have patients that they've had their record like since 1992 or 1993. They are not going to put it in where the recent files are always recent patients file. So you understand? Yes, glacier equals to archive. So what happens is they put it in a storage where they don't even know the patient will be coming again, but they keep it there. They don't want to throw it away. So you understand? So whenever the patient comes around, you understand, they can just quickly go and dust it. So once you hear S3 glacier, just think of archive. And once you hear S3 glacier deep archive, you know, it's like they're going to go and put it somewhere. That before they will get it, they will have to, you understand, search and search and search, and it can take like very long time to get it. So, but since we are making use of the cloud, you understand, this is the exact minute it takes for you to have access to it. So you see why the cloud is good. Huh? So who asked that question again? Olushola, are you good? Are you good? Oh, you have some people that glacier, yeah, yeah. So are we good to go? Can we go into the hands-on now? Can we create our first bucket? Huh? If you want us to fly, say fly. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. There's no time. Anybody? Is there any question? If there's no question, can I get a three fly? Then we're going to move to the demo. No, 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 not yes. So fly, it's fly. Yes. One, two. Okay. Okay. One more. Okay, so let me quickly share my screen. Let me share my screen. I will have to, let me see. I didn't even rehearse how to do this one. Let me share my screen. I hope I get this quickly. Share screen. So guys, we are going to see it in the next window. No, no, no. Mm, I'm coming now. Let me share my screen, please. Say a question between S3 standard and S3 IA. I'll come back to it. I'll come back to it. Let me quickly share my screen because it's almost 9. Share screen. How many of you can see my screen? Can you see my screen? How many of you can see my screen? Oh, can you see it now? Oh, what can you see? Oh, my face. Let me move me away from the road. Coming, I'm coming. Come, my dear. Wow, it's not my face. I want to share. So sorry. 1 minute. So sorry. Okay, so let's go now. So now we are in the console. I believe you can see my screen. I believe you can see my screen. If you can see my screen, can I get, if you can see my screen, can you say, can I get a fly? You can see my face. If you can see my screen, can I get a fly, please? You can see my screen now. So now let's go ahead and create a bucket. So you can see, let's just quickly create a bucket now. So I've entered into the Amazon console. And the first thing, if you want to quickly get here, all you need to do, you can just type on S3. Go to the search bar, you type on S3, S3, sorry, you can type on S3, and it will draw out Amazon S3 for you, and you click S3. Once you click Amazon S3, to take you to the Amazon S3 console. So as you can see, I was just testing, so I created an S3 bucket. But let's create another S3 bucket. So you see the first thing that happens first, you can see on the left hand side, I should zoom my screen. Okay, let me zoom it. Let me zoom it. Let me increase it to, let me see. How is it now? Is it okay like this? Is it okay? Yes. Once you say fly, that tells me it's okay. Is it okay? It's not okay. My God. I'm even seeing it through my phone. And if you zoom it and you change the quality, you zoom it and you change the quality. I've just increased it now. I should increase it. It's okay, but not clear. Let me say not clear. Okay, let me do it one more again. So this is it now. We are not zooming again. No. We are not zooming again. No. How is it now? I've zoomed it now. This is 150. This is 150. My grandmother can even see it. My great great grandmother can see this now. This is okay. Huh? It's better, Abi. It's not clear. No, now it's clear. Don't have time. So quickly, let's quickly create a bucket. Let's create a bucket. So you see, just click on create a bucket. So we are at the section where we want to create a bucket. So let's just leave the general purpose of directory. So now let's give the bucket name. I'm going to try something now. We are not going to use capital letter. Let's say, um, let's say lita S3. No, let me put S3. Don't let me put S3 dash bucket. Let's see what happens. So you are not meant to use capital letter. I am not meant to end with dash 2. So let's see what happens. If we scroll down, let's leave all this and we click create. You see, it didn't create. So why? Bucket name must not contain uppercase. You have to increase the scheme. So bucket, it does not contain uppercase. So that's what happens. So if I remove this and change it to L, just small L, let me put V, let me put week. This is, so you see, we must not end it with dash. So you get it now. You must not end it with dash too. So in your own time, if you end it with dash, it's not going to work. So you understand. So you must not end it with uppercase. The name must be unique. So I want to put dash week week. Let me see. We're in week 4. So let's do week 4. Week 4. Week 4. So now let's go and create it now. So take note of this bucket name. So let's just leave every other settings like this. So this is the block all public access. Let's leave this. Let's leave this. So you see the version I was telling us about now. You see the version I was telling us about. So you see by default it's disabled. If you understand what I'm saying now, how many of you still remember? Can I get a thumbs? Can I get a thumbs? Can I get a thumbs up? Can I get a thumbs up? How many of you remember when I was talking about versioning? That is, yeah. So you see here now, if you want to enable it, you click enable. But for this, we are not going to click enable. Just let it remain. So this for encryption, we'll talk about it later. So let's just create this bucket first. Let's create it. So you see now, our bucket has been created. Our bucket has been created. You can see that now. So let's just close this. Our bucket has been created. So now, want to see the name of our bucket, we'll just go see the bucket we create here. So this is the bucket we created. You can see the creation date and time. You can see the region. So take note that this region icon here, you have to select a region. I didn't talk about that, but we are in the North Virginia region. So let's click on this bucket. As you can see, nothing is inside the bucket now. You can see nothing is inside the bucket now. So now what we want to do now is we want to upload something inside the S3 bucket. What can I upload? Let's upload something. So we'll just click on upload. Once we click on upload, let's click on files, add files. So now what happens is it opens your browser, your file. You go to your folder, you can click on anything. Let's see. Okay, let me click on this JPEG. Let's upload this. So I've uploaded this fried rice and chicken. So maybe later I'll send the URL so we can have access to this. So how many of us are seeing my screen? If you want me to fly, can I get a fly? You can see the size. Yes, it's very important. Most especially on NOAA, you have to be very specific about the region. One of the reasons is because if you go and launch an S3 bucket in a region that you don't actually specify, you don't know the region, and all of a sudden at the end of the month, AWS start removing money from your account, and when you find out, you notice, it's like I didn't open any S3 bucket. Unknowingly for you, you've already used a region. You understand? So what happened is you have to locate that region. So let's quickly go. We don't have much time. I want us to finish by. So let's upload this. So this is fried rice and chicken. So let's leave everything as it is. Let's upload this. And boom, you see, we've uploaded it. So let's see. You can see we are in this bucket. So you see the name of the bucket. Let's go to the properties. So let's see the permissions. So you can see now on this section we have the properties, we have the permissions, we have the matrix. But just take note that we are in the little S3 bucket week 4. So now, if you want to see get an overview of everything, you can see the bucket versioning disabled. There are no tags, default encryption, and the rest. So now, if there's anybody that don't understand it up to this stage, let's me get um come again. It's okay, sir. Please fly. Okay. Atta, is there anything that is not clear? If you are good to go, can I get a fly? If you want me to go on, can I get a fly? It's very simple. If you want me to proceed, we've just created a bucket and we've observed, can a bucket be edited after creating in case there is an error or wrong spelling? Yes, no. But what you have to do is you have to delete the bucket and change the name again. You can see my face. Okay, so now let's have access to what we've actually created. Let's see. Let's have access to. So if we want to have access to what we created, we'll go to the permission section. So if we go to the permission section, we will see coming. 1 minute, please. Because the screen is too large. So let's go back now. We'll click on the object. Yeah, so click on the object. Sorry, I was still in the bucket. So we want to have access to this, to the object in this bucket. So let me go back again. Buckets. You see, we have 2 buckets. We have to click on this bucket. We click on this bucket. Then we want to have access to this. We click on the object itself, and you can see we have the S3 URL, sorry. We have the Amazon resource name, and we have the this, which we don't need to know anything about it, and we have the object URL. So now let's click on this in order for us to have access to what we put in the bucket. So let's copy this and let's paste it in our console. Can you see? Let me quickly paste this. Control V. No. So sorry. I didn't get the. Oh, sorry. Okay. Okay, it's already 9. So I want to quickly check what's in this bucket. So sorry about that. We have to go to the permissions. If we go to the permissions, we can click on this open. So once we click on the open, we can see our fried rice and chicken that we've uploaded the picture in our S3 bucket. This is what we upload in our S3 bucket. So I believe we got it. Mm. So let's go back again. In order for us to have access to what we put inside the S3 bucket, that's the object. Let's go back to the buckets. We click on the S3 bucket. In the S3 bucket, we click the object we've uploaded, and we'll go to permissions. Or we don't even need to go to permissions, then we can click on this. Well, let's just click on this open right here, and it will open for us so you can see what we've uploaded inside the bucket. Sorry about that. I know we are hungry. Even me myself, I made a mistake for pulling this up because since I came back from work, I've not eaten. So, should I? Can you guys? Do you want us to go 10 minutes for me to explain, do an hands-on for the bucket policy, or we should call it a day? How many of us want us to end the class now? Or should I proceed with the hands-on? Should we call it a day? How many of us want me to end? I should fly. Fly. Okay. So now in order for what if other people want to have access? Okay, let me continue. Thank you. Let me remove this from our face so we won't be hungry. So now let's see what if other people want to have access to this bucket, to this object in the bucket. Now, if we copy, I'm coming now. Let's go back to the bucket. Let's click on this bucket. Click on this bucket. Let's click on the object. Now, you see this URL, it gives access to anybody, let's say, over the internet. Yeah, so access over the internet. Let's copy this URL now and let's paste it and let's see what happens. As you can see, my network is very slow. As you call it a day. So I'll quickly speed up. As you can see, we can't have access to the bucket. But when I come over here and I click on open, you can see you can have access to it. So why is that? The reason is because we've not enabled public access. So now let's quickly go back. Let's quickly go back now. Let's quickly go back now. Let's click on the object itself. So what we want to do now is we want to enable public access. So if we go to permissions, if there's time I can quickly drop it. If we go to permissions, we'll click on bucket policy. We click on edit bucket policy. Remember we spoke of bucket policy. So now literally nobody can have access to this bucket unless we attach it to public bucket policy. So there are ways to get this bucket policy. We can click on policy examples, or we can just click on policy generator, which we are just going to do. So now what we are going to do now is we are going to create our own policy. Very, very simple. We're going to create our own policy. So are we good to go? Are we good to go? If you want me to fly, hope I'm not too fast. Hope I'm not too fast. Are we good to go? It's not entering again. Should we call it a day? Huh? Or we'll quickly run through it tomorrow. Some people are already saying let's do- okay. So let's call it a day. But you know what's going to happen? Um, I will quickly maybe just come up with this, or I will do a short video on creating this, and I'm going to send it to I'm going to send it across to us. I will send it across to us. So don't worry. No, don't good night too. Nobody should tell me good night too. Nobody should tell me good night too. Let me stop sharing my screen now. So let me stop sharing my screen now. Okay. So can you quickly help me pull tomorrow's show? So now, thank you so much, everyone. Don't worry, I'm going to create a video on how this bucket policies stuff work, and I will upload it. We are going to get it in our LMS. So let's call it a day. No good night yet. So thank you so much, every one of us. I truly appreciate our time. I believe we are good to go. Yeah. So good night, everyone. Don't worry. A video that shows how to create bucket policy and attach it to a bucket will be sent across to us latest by tomorrow. Thank you so much. You guys have really tried. Do have a wonderful night rest. Yeah, thank you so much. Bye. So anybody that needs the link to that rice, you can tell me and I will share it across to you. Thank you so much. Bye.